Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. William Zepeda squeaks past Tevin Farmer, a rejuvenated Tevin Farmer. And Zepeda, he wins a split decision. All three judges had it 95-94. 2 for Zepeda, 1 for Farmer. I had it 95-94 for Zepeda, but I just think the output won it for him. We all know that William Zepeda, if you've seen him before, the amount of punches that he throws for a lightweight, the engine, the cardio on this guy is shockingly good. I mean, I don't like saying it, but most people who can do this, do go at that rate, are normally using means which are not necessarily that legal. Is that diplomatic enough? I'm not saying Zepeda's on anything. I know it's quite possible he just has this freakishly, unnaturally, deep gas tank that means he can just keep throwing punches like they're going out of fashion. Quite amazing. But Tevin Farmer, let's bear in mind, this guy's 34 years of age, a former IBF super featherweight champ, the weight below he now fights at. He made several defences. I mean, was it 2, 3, 4 defences or something like that? And then he lost his IBF title to Jojo Diaz over 12 rounds, which was, at the time, Diaz was rocking and rolling. He was 30 wins, only 1 defeat. He's gone way off the rails now. But at the time he took the belt, Tevin took 3.5 years out, came back with 3 wins against journeyman. Then he fought Raymond Muratalla. Lost a close one. I thought he did lose. A lot of people said they thought he won, but I think in the second half of the fight, Muratalla sort of found a bit of a rhythm, and he managed to sort of, I think Tevin fought the wrong fight for the second half of that fight. Got too up close and personal, and Muratalla was able to dominate and pinch the win. This was even closer, and you could certainly make a case for Farmer beating Zepeda. I mean, I thought Zepeda's work rate won the fight. Now you got yourselves 2 southpaws. Zepeda was expected to smash Farmer up. Farmer was meant to be almost a warm-up for this 28-year-old Mexican who's been crushing everyone in his path. It was only 2 fights ago that he just wrecked Maxie Hughes, and Maxie Hughes, being a UK fighter, I've seen him so many times, he's a very, very good fringe world level operator, and Zepeda just crushed him. Well, Zepeda's tactics are pretty predictable. He's going to come forward, southpaw stance, punches in bunches. He does jab very, very well. In the first round, he got the jab going. I thought, oh, that's really, really good. The guy's got underrated skills. He's not a pure slugger. He comes in to wreck you, but he's not reckless necessarily. Now, having said that, of course, if you are that front-footed, if you are that proactive, inevitably you're going to leave you're going to make a few mistakes. You're going to, you can't be 100% all the time, and you are, in a sense, gambling to some degree. Although if that's your natural style and you're able to use that style very, very skillfully, and you're well versed in doing it, it doesn't. Even though on the front foot, you're going to be leaving yourself open just occasionally. Nevertheless, if that's your style and you've done it for years, which Zepeda has, you don't expect him to make that many mistakes. But he did make one mistake in the 4th round against Farmer. Farmer was trying to sort of catch and shoot, another southpaw. And in the 4th round, he pinged the left over, caught Zepeda, slap bang on the jaw, and down goes Zepeda. He's been on the floor before, I think. But that was a pure catch and shoot, counter to bang. Zepeda's on the floor. He gets up. He looks a bit shocked. Not so much that he's hurt, just the speed of Farmer. And Farmer's got very, very fast hands, Clearly, Farmer was thinking, I can't match this guy for output, so what am I going to do? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll rely on accuracy, on razor sharp counters, And Farmer, when he was interested in the first half of the fight, Farmer was scoring well at range when there was a bit of space so that he could get his levers moving. But in the second half of the fight, he kept falling into the pocket, and Zepeda, was like, okay, you want to stand in range? That's fine. I'll go to work on you, which he was doing. But Farmer kind of stifled his own work a little bit with that, because it was no longer a case of him trying to use his speed to counter or catch and shoot with Zepeda. It was more a case of I'll get in close, and he was sort of smothering his own work a bit, because he wasn't going to outwork Zepeda up close. Zepeda was always going to outwork him. And Farmer, I don't really understand that. It's very similar to the Murataya fight. Farmer in the second half of the fight, I think, fought the wrong tactics. But we still had some success, don't get me wrong. It's just that, I mean, on the one hand, knocking down Zepeda in the fourth round, it sort of made him think, it didn't make him think, okay, I've got the power, because Farmer hasn't got a lot of knockouts. But nevertheless, you'd think he would still be trying to sort of counter rather than getting up close and having a phone booth warfare with a guy whose output is just outrageously high. So Farmer, you could argue, has only got himself to blame because of the second half of the fight, that performance. But nevertheless, a lot of people did feel that his accuracy and his sharpness was worth more than Zepeda's, constant output. And yes, a lot of that output, they don't land a lot of the punches. They're on gloves, arms, elbows, and so on. And also Farmer had a very high guard, very, very impressive guard. There wasn't a lot of body punching going on, which always irritates me. I say that so many times with fights that I've watched. I mean, if they were throwing a few body punches here and there, but it's a 10-round fight. That's 30 minutes of fighting. That's a long time. If you bang that body from for the first 3-4 rounds, that's inevitably going to take some sting out of you. Even Zepeda, if you were to work his ribs, I know he's got this incredible engine, but it's going to give him something to think about. And interestingly, in the post-fight interview, he said after the knockdown, it took away a bit of my confidence. He was very, very honest about that. It was a translation, so I don't speak Spanish, but that was how it was translated. So what do we make of all this then? Well, first of all, Tevin Farmer is still a threat at 34. He's had those back-to-back tight losses, but this guy, at the very least, he's a top-level gatekeeper. And I think he could go on and win a world title if he's matched right. At 34, the clock's ticking, but he's not finished at all, Tevin Farmer. I've always thought he's very underrated, actually. I was quite surprised when he lost to Jojo Diaz. As for Zepeda, yes, he has power, he has incredible output, but he can be stung, he can be clipped, he can be hit. And Shakur Stevenson, who's the one that he's been saying he wants, and I mean, he's now 32 wins, still got 27 KOs. There's a lot of KOs out of 32 wins. No draws, no defeats. But does he beat Shakur? I think Shakur might be licking his lips over this now. At the same time, he'd be a fool to think this is going to be an easy gig, because it's not. Zepeda brings it. Zepeda is a handful for anyone, and quite capable of hurting and stopping anyone. Farmer, I mean, I kept mentioning Zepeda's gas tank, but Farmer showed a lot of stamina as well. You would expect over 12, you'd expect Shakur to outpoint him, Zepeda, but you never know. Shakur's a strange one. Apart from being incredibly dull to watch, he's not been that active. It almost seems like he does boxing because he's very good at it. He doesn't really seem to have a great passion. But we'll see, because Zepeda picked up the vacant WBC interim title. So I suppose that's a little bit of a bargaining chip. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, what did you think of this fight? What do you think of Zepeda? How far do you think he can go? And what do you think of Farmer's performance? Were you surprised by that? I was. I've got to be honest. I thought Zepeda would stop him. But he didn't. And Farmer's got something left. Let me know your thoughts. Comments below as always. Please, if you like this video, hit the like button because you're helping us out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you're new. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for your time. As always, looking forward to reading what you've got to say, and bye for now.